Hey, what's up, guys? It's your boy Ace, and today I'm accompanied by Mr. Brian. Mr. Brian has been with me since I was in the States, so he's here with us to talk about the topic for today, which is culture shock. Culture shock is a natural reaction to a series of transitions that occur when we are uprooted from our cultural environment and transplanted into a new situation. So, culture shock has five stages. Yes, five stages. And we're going to talk about those step by step and the way that I experienced culture shock when I came here to Ecuador. So let's begin with the first stage, which is the honeymoon stage. The best way to describe the honeymoon stage is if you imagine something like.
Oh, darling, this is the best thing that could ever happen to us. Let's stay here forever and never leave. Forever, 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 forever.
Except I didn't have this feeling. The closest thing to this feeling that I had was the slight hope that tech would actually be less expensive when actually it was insanely overpriced, even more so than it is now. Like if you imagine tech being expensive now, imagine back then. Well, needless to say, I was quite disappointed and immediately jumped into the next stage, which actually, now that I think about it, I was probably in that stage since the beginning, which was hostility and irritability. This is the moment where you are unsatisfied with everything and feel that the world around you must burn. No, but quite seriously, I was quite disappointed with how unorganized things looked. Streets seemed kind of bunched up, houses seemed, let's just say, quickly constructed. And leave it at that. Not to mention that the dust on the roads was so thick that you would question if you were walking on a street or in the middle of a sandstorm. Maybe had I landed in Quito, or if my only true objective were to visit, I might not have noticed. But since neither of those were the case, I was quite unsatisfied with what I saw. Now, before anyone says,
Hey, this guy is only saying negative things about Ecuador.
well, at first I didn't really have much positive things to say about Ecuador, especially considering that all my life I had lived in the States, and the change and difference in culture was surprising, to say the least. But then comes the next stage of culture shock, which was gradual adjustment. Truth be told, even though landing here during high school might have actually gave me that hostility that I talked about earlier, it also gave me the perfect chance to adjust. The school setting, gaining a best friend, and even my age, all of these were factors that helped me adjust to this setting much easier. Especially they gave me a chance to actually interact with people, which if you were just here on a quick visit or just to like pass by, you wouldn't get that chance. And you wouldn't get the chance to pick up the language the same way I did. I picked up the language after interacting a lot, so trust me when I tell you this. It took me a long, long time. Of course, there was always the alternative. I could have just gone around everywhere being that guy who didn't understand anything, but he would say, yes, yes, yo entender, yes, whilst understanding nothing. So, I guess this option was much better. After this stage, we move on to the next stage, which is adaptation. I'm not gonna lie, it took me an insane amount of time to adapt, maybe due to my innate desire to return to the States and the fact that I was thinking about everything so negatively as I did for so long. But once I did adapt, I noticed that, at least here in Ecuador, everything was a lot calmer, simpler. It was a more relaxing life. There were nice people, for the most part. I didn't have to go very far to get to places, and there were lots of yummy, inexpensive food, which, you always want to eat food at yummy, inexpensive prices. To this day, it still makes me sad that I can't get games or any kind of tech because of the premium that comes attached to it, but setting that aside, it is much more relaxing to live here in Ecuador, believe it or not. So all of this leads to the very last stage, which is re-entry travel shock. To be honest, I haven't been to the States in years. Way too many to count. So I don't know if I would or wouldn't be shocked to go back to the States, but I definitely would have a honeymoon moment with some things, and I'd be like,
You and me are going to be together forever.
all while looking at the door of an Apple store or something. Although, from what I've seen online and some things that I've been told by friends, there is certainly going to be a learning curve when I go back. Maybe not in language, but most definitely in culture. So, thank you very much for watching and listening. I hope you learned a little something about culture shock and maybe a little bit about Ecuador. If you enjoyed this video, please smash the like button. If you're new here, hit the subscribe button and help me reach my goal of 1,000 subscribers. Please take care, drink tons of water, make sure you sleep early, and without further ado, Ace and Brian out.